when someone comes up to you and goes, "Oh my god, that bit is so good,"
and it can be simple.
Yeah.
It can be such a simple.
But that requires it. You're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the work, the thing, the piece that you're working on. When your person thinks about themselves, I'm going to kill by saying these things, and I'm going to get this. You are literally like blocking creativity.
Yeah.
And so then when they have to be creative, it's terrible.
They just never learned.
They don't
never spend the time. They don't know the ways.
And they're pretending they're black belts.
Yeah.
They're out there pretending to be a black belt with all the confidence of a black belt. They got bullshit moves.
Yeah. They get knocked out.
They get fucked up.
No, that does happen.
Yeah.
And it's like
hilarious when you see a really bad special from a known thief.
The
some of them still step on premises that they know other people have done. And it still sucks because they can't steal anymore.
The language is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's like
you don't understand the language of comedy.
Yeah, it is a fucking and that's something I wonder. Like the people who start really young. Like you know how when you learn a language young.
Yeah.
You have way greater aptitude for it, and there's a fluency and a comfort with it. Whereas if you try to learn a language at like 40, maybe it's just not going to be strong. Like you can memorize vocabulary, you can do all these things. It's just a little bit harder.
Well, you don't have the resources because you know, like when you're 40, you have bills, family obligations, things that are bothering you all day long. When you're 15 or 12, you don't have any of those problems. You have a few problems with friends. You don't have any bills. Food's on Dare's available every night. You're not worrying about how the electric stays on. I don't give a shit about that. Free. Okay, the internet's on. Type in.
Explore.
Yeah, free. You have so little resources that are being allocated to all these different things that when you're a person, you have a family, mortgage, fucking business,
responsibilities,
neighborhood, homeowners association, resources at work, taxes, and you don't have time to learn French.
Yeah, you better learn before all that.
Yeah. It's much easier if you learn before all that. Because otherwise, you're just not going to have time to obsess about a thing.
And the obsession and like the purity when you really care about the thing you're talking about. Like I don't know if you went through times in your stand-up career where there wasn't something you wanted to share. Did you ever go through stretches like that?
Yeah, you have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah, and it's like, or there was times where like I felt like I talked about all the things, and I had like a stretch before this last hour. I was like, man, what do I want to say? All right, I did the thing about abortion. I've done the thing about trans. I did all the things, and I'm like, I don't want to just be grabbing at a topic. I want to really like feel strongly about something, and
actually be interested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I took like a little bit of time off before I actually felt something. And the funny thing is when you feel strongly about something, it pours out. It's not hard. The jokes might not be good at first, but you can't wait to tell them and figure them out.
Right.
Trying to figure out a joke you don't care about is a job.
Yeah.
It's not an art. That's a job.
Yeah.
But when you care and it's fun and it's exciting and the stakes are fucking high and it could fuck up, that I want to get on stage. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Give me another spot. How do I work
and
this
you
out?
Try to figure it out in real time in front of a group of people. And you have to elicit a specific response from them. It has to be humor.
You know what's so funny is like you ever listen to a recording of like a new bit and when you were on stage doing it, you're like, that crushed. And then when you listen back, you're like, oh, it did okay. But you were just so excited that it worked.
Yes.
That the excitement changed almost the way that you interpreted the crowd.
Yes.
And I don't know, for me, I'm like, oh, that means I really like this.
But also, that's the problem with old bits. You don't get enthusiastic about them anymore. And the audience doesn't feel the enthusiasm from you.
And you're like, why is this not working?
Right. It's because you're not working.
Because it's not math. Like some people are doing like word problem jokes. At its core, it's not word problem. It's like those people got to connect to the way you feel about this thing.
Exactly.
And they'll pick up quick.
Exactly.
And there's ways to trick the system with like Mr. X and all this kind of stuff. But if they can feel, they can sense that deep down you don't give a fuck.
Right.
They're not giving it up. And you got guys like Joey's a perfect example. It's like when he's fucking rolling, he feels it.
Yeah.
It feels like he is equally passionate about it the first time he said it, and you get caught up. It starts becoming a joke.
Yeah. It's hypnosis.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You're hypnotizing the entire crowd to think the way Joey thinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he's doing.
You're on like an emotional wavelength.
Yes.
And to me, that's like That's the highest form of it. Obviously, you want to have the structure, you want to have the jokes, and you want to have the misdirects and all these things, 100%. But to me, I think those are almost like, that's like the icing and sprinkles on the cake. But the cake is built with, how much do I really fucking care about this position?
Yes.
And sometimes the position is just me being naughty or silly or absurd. It doesn't matter. But I got to fucking care about it.
Right. Yeah, it has to be important to you.
Yeah.
And they feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those, I don't know, those are the bits I always remember. They can be the silliest little fucking things, like little things Patrice would do about, the subway stopping. You saw that one where, like, excuse me, someone's just been hit by the subway. There's going to be a delay. And he just stands there, and all of a sudden he, like, moves his sleeve to look at his watch to see how late he's going to be to work. And it's just this little tiny thing, which is like, that's how we would feel in that moment. Like, just that, he didn't even need a punchline. It's just like, that guy's dead, turned into jelly on the tracks. He's like, 9:15, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. How many of those can I make in my life?
Yeah.
That's to me.
And you always think that when you have a new bit, like, this is the last new bit. Like, I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
But you'll always have something to say. You just need the time.
Yeah.
You need the time and you need to think. And again, it needs to be something you're actually interested in.
Yeah.
So you have to find something you're actually interested in.
Yeah.
That's the difference between thieves. Like, that's why they don't have
they have interest in killing
themselves.
Exactly.
They're interested in themselves.
How can I succeed?
Yeah,
how can I win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're usually always tearing down other comedians too.
Yeah.
Which is always ironic.
Well, because they're projecting how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. But it's also fascinating that there's still a few thieves out there that have managed to, like, slip through, and they're existing around us. We're all aware of them. Like, there's one. There's one. Look at him over there.
Why do you think that there are more people that don't call him out then?
Because there's definitely career
implications,
consequences. Yeah, like, some of these people wind up being successful and they hire people. That's one of the things they love to do. Thieves will hire a bunch of other thieves when they get a television show, and they'll have thieves. Like, a thief will hire a bunch of comedians, I should say, when they get a television show, and they give them work and they support them. And then this is like, then you have a bunch of people that'll defend you. Like, that's very common.
And because you're paying them.
Exactly. Like, the thieves will go out and get a bunch of people that maybe they swipe some bits from, and they put them on their television show. Yeah, I know people have done that.
So and that's their way of almost like paying
them back
for silence.
Paying them back. Yeah. Hooking them up, paying them back. I'll give you examples after the show. Okay. We don't need to be negative, talk about people, but there's a bunch of that I know.
But, there's also a bunch of people that are killing it that we know are pure.
Yeah.
And having this, like, amazing, successful run right now because of the internet, because of streaming platforms that are leaning into really good comedy and not comedy that, like, fits a certain narrative.
Yeah.
And I think those people... If I look at the people who are having the most success right now, I think it's the people that are pure. And
there's a lot of that, yeah.
I mean, we can talk after, but the people that I see crushing it, the people I'm looking at, and I'm just like, holy shit, this guy deserves, like, Shane deserves it.
Yeah.
And he's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these people, and I'm just like, that could have went a different way.
100%.
Like, it could have went a really different way.
Yeah.
But the structure was set up in a way where he had another opportunity, and with his second chance, demolished anything that could have stood in his way.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I look at that and I go, okay, there is some justice in this.
It's also like people are in his corner.
Yeah.
They want him to succeed.
Yeah. Well, when you're good, people want to fight for you.
Yeah. This is a great time for comedy, man.
Yeah.
I think it might be the best time ever.
Of course.
Really do. I think this is legitimately the golden age of comedy.
We're in it.
And this is also when, like, Ari said it best. It's like, comedy's dangerous now. Because it's fun. Because comedy's dangerous again.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's so many people that want to restrict what people can and can't talk about. That's unique.
I feel like the restriction is less now.
Really?
Yeah.
Right now, currently.
Like, in today, I feel like we can kind of say anything.
As opposed to, like, 2 years ago.
5 to 2 years. Like, now you're like, oh, shit, this joke is wild to say.
Well, it's also people are wanting you to go out there. They get excited, like when you did that Diddy bit.
Yeah.
Like, people wanted you, wanted you to go out there. They're like, "Oh, he went right in there. Oh, Jesus Christ!"
I remember I got to LA a day early, and I was trying to, like, work out some, like, local stuff, because sometimes it's fun to just, you're in a city you like, and I was at the store, and I was bombing my ass off with local shit, every local joke I tried to do just fucking bombed. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about at the forum? Like everything I try. And I thought that they were like aware that like the city was, you know, in a different state than it used to be. And I'm trying to write all these jokes about like what's happened to the city. And people in LA don't really feel the city's changed that much. That's like an outside perspective. So I'm saying it and they're kind of laughing, but they're like, or they're aware and they don't want to admit it.
Right.
And I remember I was just in the green room. I'm just like, fuck, maybe the joke is about Diddy. That's the only thing everybody's talking about. That's all it's on our minds. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And then, bro, this is how funny 50 is. I'll share this.
Can you?
Yeah. I'll tell you the full thing after, but I got FaceTime from 50 and he's like, yo, next time he goes, yo, next time I come see you, bro, I'm gonna come out on stage with a Maltese cat. I'm like, bro, you the craziest motherfucker. Imagine him walking out on a show, petting a fucking cat.
So what do you think was going on?
With who? Meek and Diddy? I don't think Meek's gay. I don't think anything's happened with them. I think that was just like a funny rumor that happened. I even said that when I first did the Meek joke. I was like, I don't think he's gay. He just handled the accusations poorly.
Yes.
Like he just handled them
he said, I love pussy.
Who does that? That's the gayest thing.
Yeah, it seems gay.
But I don't think he's gay. But yeah.
But that's just an unsophisticated approach to PR.
Yeah. Like his PR team's probably like, hey, maybe don't say that.
You've got to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he's probably not consulting with anybody.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. Nobody consults with you when something happens. You just post whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have like a team telling me, don't say that before the podcast. That would be a problem.
Yeah, it would be.
I would have never gotten anywhere.
Yes. Yeah, we need you to not have a team, actually.
Yeah, it's actually kind of important. You don't have a bunch of people you consult with about what could be dangerous.
Because then who controls them? What are their intentions?
Yeah, exactly. And what are they doing this based on? You know, self-preservation? Yeah. Yeah, it's just wild that apparently he had cameras in every room of his house. That's what they're saying. Has that been verified?
I don't think it's been verified. I think like the Epstein shit, it never will be. Now, I'm not saying that he's like Epstein. You know, I think that he could have some fucking wild parties, et cetera.
But if he was filming everybody...
If he's filming everybody, I understand why Hummer showed up to the house. Because people who went to the parties were like, get those fucking things.
Hundreds of hidden cameras discovered in Diddy's homes, lawsuit says.
Oh, well then it's a wrap. Done.
Hundreds.
Yeah, we'll never see any of that footage.
This dude had hundreds of cameras. That is so crazy.
Because if he's doing wild shit.
A court filing, Jones said he worked with Combs between September 22nd and to September of 2022 and September of 2023 to produce the rapper's most recent release. So he said hundreds of cameras in his homes in L.A., New York, and Miami.
And did he like to throw the parties? Like he would throw the white party. He'd do, you know.
But who's he have taking care of that footage?
I mean, you know, you can get people.
Wow.
You know, powerful dude. He's a powerful dude. And I think he really enjoyed power.
The underage people implicating people in crimes by bringing underage people to them. And
wait, what does that mean?
That was the whole thing about the Epstein place, is that like if you've got underage girls and you don't tell these guys these are underage girls, and then you get them drugged up, get them drunk, give them coke, whatever it is, and then film them.
Yep.
Well, they don't even know.
So they don't know that they're committing acts of pedophilia.
Could be, or could be they do know and they think it's safe to do it because this guy's protecting them. But meanwhile, they're just coked up and they're getting filmed.
Yeah.
You know, which is also the theory.
Yeah.
But it is, you got to think, when someone becomes, when someone becomes like a wild billionaire character, you're like, well, where's the pussy?
Yeah.
Where's the shit that I got rich for?
Yeah, imagine you went to the
Where's
island.
all the fun?
Yeah.
I need to, like, how do I get the fun? And then someone comes along like, you need to get connected with my friend Jeffrey Epstein. He takes care of everything. And he brings the fun. And so you just keep flying to hang out with them. And so that's your partying. You can't go to Vegas and go to Dre's and pick up hoes and get crazy and bring them back to your suite with coke. And people talk too much.
So here's the thing. It's like these tech guys have made all this money.
Right.
Right? They made all this money. They're hanging out in Miami or wherever they're hanging.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, I'm a billionaire now. Why am I not getting pussy? I got to connect with some people that can make me the man. I thought I'd be the man now that I'm a billionaire.
I bet in like the CEO world and in that world of country clubs and fucking Skull and Bones, there's dudes who know how to get the hookers.
Oh, here's the thing. It's not even the Skull and Bones guys. Right. Because that's like old WASP shit.
Right.
I'm talking about the nerd from Silicon Valley.
The nerds know prostitutes. So the nerds have coke.
It's not even the nerds. They have a guy it's their job to throw the parties. It's the fixer. Now, you know, like these like jet setter crews. My boy was explaining how this thing works to me. So they have these like events around the globe that like wealthy people go.
Like Davos.
But not even Davos. More just like New York Fashion Week and the U.S. Open. All happens around Labor Day in New York, right? So everybody who like comes from money and all these like, you know, rich socialite people from around the world, they all come to New York for that week, right? And they go to the nice parties and they do all the things. Tech bros or the crypto bros want to be included in that cool thing.
Right.
How do they be included? They got to throw the best party. How do you make the best party? You have to have all the models. You have to have the cool people.
Right.
They don't know any of those.
Right.
So you get the fixer. The fixers get paid crazy money from the tech bros or crypto bros because they want in on this thing.
And you develop a reputation of being the guy who puts on the crazy bashes.
Now, once you have that reputation, they think they're in. All these other people who are like the socialite people who come from tons of money and their parents are lords and shit, they look at them like, oh, you're paying to play. It's a bringer show for comedy. You're not really selling out Caroline's. You did the bringer show.
Right.
But they don't know that. So they're like, yeah, we're all partying. We're doing the thing. So there's this whole economy that kind of like feasts off these people who just have money. But here's the thing. Those people are doing the fixers. They got the models to show up. These models are curating their Instagram by going to these parties around the world. Sometimes they're getting paid to go to the parties. I imagine the models that are more fun, in other words, they get a little loose, they like to party, they like to fuck a little bit, they get invited more. The ones that are less fun, maybe a little bit more tight, they don't get invited as much. So you don't even have to say, yo, you got to fuck these guys. You just want to know if you want to get invited to this nice party in Switzerland.
Right.
You know what kind
And you start doing a little blow, start doing a little molly. That's what you like to do in the first place. And then you get to party on yachts, and you're hanging out with all these guys, and maybe they even pay you.
Well, they are paying them.
Yeah.
And everybody's fucking
maybe
the same
it's a lot
girls.
of money.
It's a lot of money.
Like, you know the Sultan of Brunei's deal?
What is it?
Oh, my God. The Sultan of Brunei, he had his own nightclub. Maybe he still does.
Okay.
So he had his own night. He has like 500 Ferraris. Like these guys have insane amounts of money because it's not public.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't have to be like the world's richest men. Exactly.
Like yeah.
But they're richer than everybody.
Yeah.
Right. They have trillions.
Yeah.
And so he had his own nightclub.
Okay.
And so what he would do is he would pay actresses. He would find these girls, get me her, and he would get these gals and give them exorbitant amounts of money to come, and then he would have a nightclub where it was only him. And he would go down there and it's filled with gorgeous women. And he would go down there and just go, you, come with me. And then they'd go fucking party. And they were making a lot of money. And one of them was writing a book. And so she had a laptop and she was like documenting all. They confiscated her laptop, and then she went back to America. That she spilled the beans and she ratted out all the other girls that were doing it. And it kind of fucked up the whole thing. Because like A-list people were getting shit tons of money.
This thing
to go over there and party.
Know.
Yeah, I don't say A-list, but
no. A-list
people that you
models.
know. Yeah,
there's like
people you know of. And if you go there, you get millions of dollars. Bro, like this lady had gotten millions of dollars in jewelry from him.
There's a service that apparently where like
I love that word.
Yeah, apparently, right?
Allegedly,
where like billionaires can fuck like Sports Illustrated models and shit, and like Victoria's Secret chicks that we've seen, and it's costs a lot of money. And they do it because it's like, hey, it's easier than going to do these shoots.
Right.
It's the easiest.
And
money.
They don't want to tell anybody that they did it.
They don't. And also, they're getting to fuck billionaires. They're not fucking some random crackhead.
Right.
They're gonna already fuck the billionaires. So it might as well make some fucking money doing it. And it exists now.
And you know about this allegedly?
Allegedly, I may know people who have partaken. So it's like,
and
this exists.
Bang like cover of Maxim.
I don't know the cover. I don't know what's going on.
Just some hot ladies that you are aware of.
But they're not just hot chicks that come from Russia, right? We're talking about
famous people
that you would never think would even need to do that.
Right.
So just these are like the ecosystems that exist out there.
Well, it makes sense if you're worth $200 billion and you give someone $1 million to fuck you. That is nothing. You make that in 5 minutes.
Sold no Brunei spending.
Okay. In 2001, Jeffrey was forced to auction off his personal possessions after using the country as a piggy bank, spending an average of $747,000 a day for 10 years, on top of the $17 billion in gifts to friends and family. The Sultan's true vulgarity was exposed. His brother also treats the country as an ATM, and it remains a crime in Brunei for anyone to ever discuss how the royals spend their money.
When you don't work for your money, how can you value it? Like, if it just comes right out the ground, like, how do you really think $10,000?
Bro, that dude is spending, how much was he spending a day?
So I was into the math.
That's so crazy. He lives in a palace with 1,788 rooms, 257 bathrooms, 5 swimming pools, a mosque, a banquet hall that holds 5,000 people, and a 110-car garage. When he turned 50, the Sultan built a stadium, invited Michael Jackson to perform in it, and paid him $17 million for 3 concerts. Jeffrey, 59, maintains a separate pleasure palace and once owned a 150-foot yacht called the Tits. He called his yacht Tits.
Nice.
He named his fenders Nipple 1 and Nipple 2.
Love it.
And he could never understand why others found that juvenile and crass. Here and abroad, the brothers are infamous for their sex parties and their harems composed mainly of underage girls.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. Wild. Bro, that amount of money that he's spending, that is so crazy.
$3 billion plus. But that doesn't. That's, I said it didn't include the $17 billion that he was giving out to people.
Wow.
It said up here too. Did you mention the Michael Jackson thing for his birthday?
Yeah.
Okay.
That dude's balling, son.
But yeah, these fucking things exist all over the place.
Crazy.
And it's the easiest money that these girls will ever make.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's so, if you've got that much money,
it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
They light it on fire.
And the money's coming every day. It's just stacking up. Giving someone $1 million to fuck. And the girl's probably like, wait, $1 million? Just regular sex? You're not going to shit on me? He's not going to give you the Cincinnati top hat? Or whatever the fuck.
Yo, I was asking, because when I was out there in Abu Dhabi, it's like I was trying to understand some of the cultural nuances, but I had a joke about it, but I was asking about the Dubai shit. Did you send me that? Or you sent me the, I did a joke out there. But they told me that the Burj Khalifa has a separate sewage system because it wasn't connected to the sewage system of Dubai. So they have these poop trucks that take the poop out. Right? Yeah. And the joke I said is like, well, that's why they have to shit on the hooker's chest because it's not connected to the plumbing, right? Yeah. And but they were telling me like these interesting cultural things that happen out there, like with the license plates. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Where the lower the number, the more expensive it is.
Yeah. And I go, crazy expensive.
Yeah, millions of dollars for a number 3 license plate. And I'm like, why is that? And one of the kids who's from the royal family goes, you have to understand, like, when everybody has a G-Wagon or a Range Rover, it is not a big deal to have a G-Wagon or Range Rover.
Right.
And people have this need to show off.
Yeah.
But if everybody got the expensive shit, how else can you flex?
Right.
License plate.
Yeah. Wild. Also, crime over there, almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Go to Dubai and commit a crime. See how that goes. Yeah. Go to Abu Dhabi and commit a crime.
They've compartmentalized society. But yeah, they're strict, but it's also like, anybody there who's working has been there's a working class of people who do not really operate outside of working within the society. Right. And then everybody else there who's not part of the working class has money, so why would you commit crime?
There's also did you ever see the Vice documentary on some of the people that built Dubai?
No.
So some of the contractors, what they would do is they would go to third world countries. They'd promise people exorbitant amounts of money to go over there and work construction. Then they'd bring them over to Dubai and then take their passports and then force them to live in squalor, give them a fraction of what they paid, and they're basically indentured servants.
Yeah. So the working system is, I don't know how different it is from that even today, but basically like you work there for 11 months, you get 1 month off, you get paid very little money. It's not enough money for upward mobility. While you're there, you are working just to work and then send money back home to your family, wherever it is. You never will become part of society. So they've really curated a system where those people have no upward mobility. Now, I imagine the advantage of that is there's no crime. Because everybody who's poor there is working.
And they know their place. They're in danger. It's not simple. It's not like you
and
just
we're
get away
taking
with
you
things.
from destitute poverty where your family would die. So
Right.
they're like, yeah, we're giving you an opportunity. These people are like, well, if I fuck up here, my whole family dies back home, or my whole family starves, or my whole family is going to go through some horrible situation.
Yeah.
So I'm the lifeline for my family. So they are taking advantage of that desperation.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, I guess what they would dictate, they would say the benefit of that is no crime. But there is a social cost of that. There is a subclass of people that are there.
There's always going to be a social cost when you cost when you have monarchies.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and then you have people with exorbitant wealth and all the power. And then, some of them turn bad, like Saddam Hussein and his sons, which were famously some of the most evil motherfuckers that ever existed.
Yeah.
I mean, they would feed women to dogs. They would find women that were getting married, steal the woman from the marriage, rape her, and then feed her to dogs.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Uday and Qusay. There's been many tales written about how evil they were. I mean, they were like
that is
legitimate
also,
serial killers.
That's the risk of the monarchy, right?
Yeah.
Is that you don't know if that egg that comes out is good.
Well, it's also like having a child that grows up with total, complete power. You're going to have a Joffrey. I mean, that's the archetype.
But maybe you get what is the guy that everybody thinks said everything great?
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He did a lot of psychedelics.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a part of the Eleusinian Mysteries. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a part of that whole Greek Eleusinian Mysteries thing. Yeah. Yeah, he was involved in those ceremonies. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that ancient Greek society, specifically from Brian Murarescu's work. Did you ever talk to him?
No, but I read some stuff about there's certain plants that grow that elicited the same chemical compounds as DMT or something.
As LSD.
Or LSD, yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of different ones that do like all kinds of different psychoactive ones, but they've absolutely found definitive proof of the use of ergot. And ergot is a fungus that gives people the same sort of psychedelic experience as LSD.
Ergot?
Ergot. Yeah, it's a fungus. It's also a fungus that they connect with the Salem witch trials.
Like a mushroom?
It's a fungus that grows on wheat, and that fungus it can be toxic for some people. It can kill them at certain doses, but it also imparts an LSD effect. And they found ergot in some of the wine vessels.
So they were taking it without even knowing.
No, they were taking it on purpose.
Oh.
What is this? A heroic Greek potion.
Ergot was in this drink.
The kykeon. Yeah, that's what they called it, this drink. And so they believed this drink contained a mixture of a bunch of different psychedelic compounds. One of which for sure they know is ergot, but there's a few other ones that I can't remember that they know are in there as well. And they found this from studying these ancient pottery vessels.
Your saucer looks like a mushroom. Is that on purpose?
I don't think so. But it could.
But if your whole idea is, that
saucers and mushrooms do have a lot of similarities.
But the stoned ape theory is if the mushrooms that took us to the next level, and now we have the aliens taking us to the next level.
It might be the aliens brought us the mushrooms.
Well, there we go.
Who knows?
Anyway, but yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So then he was taking all that, and that's why all this wisdom.
Well, that's why he was so beyond wise. And he also believed in forgiveness, even forgiveness of his enemies. He was a Roman emperor.
No, he was very compassionate. He has all these great quotes. I guess what I assume is like in the same way that somebody is writing Obama speeches, people were writing his stuff. So I imagine that his stoicisms or whatever are the collection of the greatest ideas of the time, and the way to disseminate that information is to be like, yo, it's from the emperor, it's from the top boss.
Part of it, but Meditations I don't believe was ever written with the intent of it being distributed.
Oh, so they just found this diary of his.
Find that out. I think that's
I'm not trying to discredit him. I'm just trying to say
I know
that,
what you're saying. Well, for sure, definitely he did. I mean, everybody at any point in time has the information of the greatest minds they've encountered.
Of course. Einstein was talking to other great people, and then he might have had the greatest mind, but he's still able to...
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort, and including with philosophy, and certainly back then. But, this one guy, his experiences, to this day, they resonate. You read Meditations today, like, oh, this is a guidebook to how to live your life in a better way.
Yeah. And it's rare that you would have someone in his circumstance where he was raised to be king.
Exactly.
Then he would be successful.
Yeah, and and then his son turns out to be a cunt.
But didn't they say that was because of the lead pipes or something like that?
I'm sure that had something to do with it.
There was something about, like, I was reading, or was it Nero? Who was there was one emperor that just went crazy, And they said he wasn't raised in the castle, he wasn't raised in the forum or whatever the fuck it was. And then when he moved there and he started consuming the water from the lead pipes, that they started to warp his brain, and then he went more and more crazy throughout. I mean, this is what some tour guide told me.
Totally makes sense.
Rome. But yeah,
they
of
didn't
course.
know what lead did to you.
No, they were stoked to have pipes.
George Washington's teeth were made with lead.
Yeah.
You know, that's that Shane Gillis
it's
bit.
a great bit.
It's a fucking banger of a bit. I love that bit.
Yeah.
But that's true.
Yeah.
The literal mold that his teeth were fitted into was lead. He carried lead in his mouth all day.
Yeah.
Just nuts.
Wild boy.
Wild boy. Yeah. But the country was founded by wild, crazy fucking people.
You kind of need a crazy motherfucker to found a country. It's not like the most sane thing to be like, yo, let's just thwart the whole system, do something completely different, we'll do it on our own.
Not only that, but have this fail-safe method that exists today to keep someone from becoming a tyrant.
Oh, to relinquish the power.
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing. Yeah, I think that might have been the greatest thing a leader has ever done.
Yeah.
To set in motion this idea that you are not going to maintain this power after you have it.
Yeah, no one can.
What a fucking...
Pretty amazing that they had the foresight.
Did he write about it at all? Like, is there a moment where he regretted it 2 months later? He's like, man, I should have kept that shit. Like he's got to deal with a parking ticket or something. He's like, fuck.
After he gets out of office, this is bullshit. I could put my horse here. Yeah. I mean, imagine if someone tried to form a country today, how quick they'd put the kibosh on that.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah, but if somebody like went to some new, like Greenland or something, just said, we're going to set up shop here.
Yeah. The powers that be go, no.
No, the chance.
Don't do new
Are you going to have weapons?
Yeah.
What?
Fuck that.
You going to make an army?
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to find a reason why you guys are whatever you are.
Yeah.
Pedophiles,
I think you're
racist.
racist.
Yeah, whatever the fuck
you hate
you are.
Women.
Yeah, we're going over there. Yeah, we got to stop this. Yeah, we got to figure out a way to invade.
When are we going to take Greenland already? Or buy it?
Wasn't Trump talking about buying it? He made a tweet, I promise I won't do this, and he had like a giant Trump tower there that said Trump on the ceiling.
But it sounded like a cool acquisition.
Yeah.
Like, don't they have all these minerals and stuff, and there's all these great...
Also, if the world does warm up, that's a good spot to go to. Yeah, well, you know, throughout history, when the world's gotten colder and warmer, people have moved away from the places where you can't live in and moved to the places where you can live.
So we got a nice little fail-safe.
Yeah, a little something.
Imagine.
A little something.
We're just all in Greenland.
Well, there was discussions about Trump buying Greenland.
Yeah, because it's got a lot of, I don't know.
Why didn't that happen?
I think Greenland shut it down. Isn't
for sale?
Isn't Greenland owned by Denmark or something like that?
Everything for sale.
Yeah.
Come on. Are you sure? I just didn't get the right offer.
That might be the offer.
Yeah.
But we've made some good deals. Like that fucking Louisiana Purchase was a good deal.
What a crazy deal.
I mean.
How about Alaska? That's a crazy deal.
Yeah, Alaska was nuts.
Since 1867, the United States has considered or made several proposals to purchase the island of Greenland.
From Denmark, yeah.
From Denmark, who did it with the Danish West Indies in 1917, while Greenland remains an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. A 1951 treaty gives the United States much control over an island once partially claimed from exploration. There's got to be all kinds of shit up there that they could use.
Yeah. What do you think about Antarctica?
Well, did you ever see that one guy that was on the Sean Ryan show that claims that there's like a direct energy weapon out of Antarctica? Boy, that guy seems overconfident.
Yeah.
That he knows what he's talking about. He's a fireman. He's not a scientist.
I had access to everything.
Yeah, there's something about that doesn't sit right with me, but I don't know. I mean, also, you know, it's so hard unless you have evidence. Like, unless you could show that they could turn this thing on.
Right.
And what is it? It's a neutrino detector that also can be used as a directed energy weapon.
That's it. Directed energy weapons is what they were saying.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's a concept that existed for a long time. I'm sure they probably have something like that.
Yeah.
They definitely have things that were just theoretical. They have a railgun now, and this railgun can go through multiple layers of steel. Have you ever seen the railgun in operation?
No.
It's crazy. A railgun, just like from Quake. This thing sends this bolt through, like, I think they did like 10 giant steel plates in a row, and it just went through all of them like it was hot butter.
But is it a laser? What is the material that's actually going through
I
it?
don't know exactly how it works. So this is the thing. So this is the rail, this bolt going through all this steel.
Jesus.
Look at this. It just goes through everything. goes through all that shit.
So what
look at it
stops
going through it. Just going through everything, man. Look at that. I mean, it's like total science fiction Star Wars type shit.
Yeah.
So they've got some wild shit, and I guarantee they're working on direct energy weapons as well. Now, what they've been able to accomplish versus what is theoretical, that's the real question. And if it did exist, if there was a direct energy weapon, would they tell us? I don't think they would.
No.
Why would they tell us?
No. I mean, the conspiracies out there get wild. Like, there's pyramids there. You've seen that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if you also start digging, they say nobody can like dig under the ice. Like, don't mess with the ice out there. I think there's like a treaty across all like countries that have somehow like taken apart or claimed a part of Antarctica. But I think the tricky thing is like if you start digging and you find animal remains, like humans tend to follow animals wherever they go.
Yeah.
So are we going to find some humans over there? And then how does that distort the historical timeline?
Or they find a spaceship down there.
Ooh, Joe, now we're getting into it.
Well, that was the thing. One of the things that Lazar said is that one of the vehicles was a part of an archaeological dig.
But not,
they found it in an archaeological dig.
But not in Antarctica.
No.
It was in North America,
He didn't say where.
Oh.
He didn't say where. But he said one of the ships they recovered from an archaeological dig. And they think these things have been around for a long, long, long time.
So then
the people that work with them, like Diana Pasulka, who wrote, what was it, Encounters? She said that they refer to them as donations. These crashed UFOs, they don't even necessarily think of them as crashed. They think they kind of like let it crash. They're donations for us to back engineer, that we're supposed to take them and go figure this out. And that this is something that helps our technological evolution. And there's a lot of people that point to like the creation of fiber optics, that it all kind of happened right after Roswell, and that there's these descriptions of fiber optics that existed in the crafts they found at Roswell.
So they're looking at us like we're looking at the orangutan.
Yeah, here's a stick.
Like, yo, he's figuring it out.
Go fish with that stick. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that would be a good way to accelerate technologies, to just introduce something to them and go back engineer that.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
I mean, isn't that how we do it now?
Yeah. Well, that's what Lazar had said they were doing with him in Area 51 in S4. He was saying, but they didn't know exactly how these things worked. They didn't know how to recreate it, and they wouldn't let the scientists talk to other scientists.
Yeah.
He's like, science doesn't exist in a vacuum like that.
Yeah.
You need a collaborative effort of a bunch of different people. And also different scientists that were working on the thing weren't allowed to talk to each other.
But that's a military thing, right? For privacy?
Exactly. A compartmentalization thing. Yeah, for top secret clearance. Yeah. But he was the guy that was saying that they were also telling him that we are a farm of souls.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that the people that know about it say you can't tell people because they would freak out. Yeah. There'd be riots in the streets. I mean, that was just, someone just recently said something like that. It was one of the recent conversations between some top official. They were saying if real disclosure happened and people knew exactly what was going on, there'd be riots. People would be freaking out.
I think we'd be okay now.
Well, who knows?
I think we'd be all
right.
If
we found out that we really are just vessels for souls and that we're being farmed by some super intelligent species that we will eventually become.
The farm thing is tricky, but that we're being groomed to become this super intelligent species, and it takes time, and we have to get there slowly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I like the theory. Yeah.
That tracks that you would just kind of let us figure it out and let us go.
Nudge us in the right direction.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that the aliens would show up once we started detonating nukes.
Because it's like, whoa, that's a different direction.
Yeah, okay, guys, stop that. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do all your nonsense and do all your regular conventional warfare, but as soon as you start going atomic, we're going to start talking. Yeah. We're going to let you know. You're not the boss.
Quite benevolent, these aliens, huh?
Well, also maybe recognize that this process has to take place and you can't hold their hand, you know? Yeah. Teach a man to fish. He'll fish for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teach him.
You might meet him one day, Joe.
Yeah.
You might meet him one day.
Yeah, I might already have meet him.
Will we believe you?
Don't believe me. I'll lie. It's the one thing I'll lie about. I don't lie about anything. I will lie to everybody about that.
Joe's already met him. That means he's already met him.
I don't know shit. I think it's all fake. It's all Russian propaganda. We need to support Ukraine. Meanwhile, there's fucking things in this room with us right now, observing from other dimensions.
Fuck.
Yeah, just making sure we're on the general path towards technological progression, which is what eventually gives birth to it.
So they're
us.
Yeah, but
they're what every intelligent species eventually becomes.
But they're basically on a further timeline.
Yeah.
So they're influencing their own timeline.
They're influencing a similar species to evolve to hit their level of technological
and they feel like that
sophistication.
Is their duty.
I think that's just what happens.
Yeah.
That's probably what happens in the universe, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, look, when we go to visit primitive societies, we bring the wells.
Oh, that's true.
We start creating electricity for them. We teach them how to farm. Yeah. That's what we do. It just makes sense that they would do that, especially if they're beyond advanced, like incomprehensibly more advanced than we are. They would slowly help us do it right.
Yeah.
And stop us from making catastrophic errors.
And we're fun. We're like dogs in a way. Like dogs are fun. You want to teach them how to sit and shit outside.
Also, like, look at them go.
Yeah.
Look at these people.
We create some good stuff.
Yeah, look at them making drones and shit. This is wild.
Yeah.
Look what they're doing. Rail guns and shit. Look at these psychos. Hypersonic jets.
Yeah.
Look at them go.
And still cage fighting.
Yeah,
we've got it all.
Slap
we've
fighting.
got the whole. Yeah.
Slap fighting. Slap fighting is like, dude, that's the bottom.
When that comes onto the alien's desk. Wait, they're doing what?
Slapping.
They can't defend each other.
They have to stand there.
Yeah.
Do they know about brain damage? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that host it also host MMA.
Yeah, they know everything about it.
They know everything about brain damage.
Yeah.
And they just say, look, sign up at the dotted line. You can ride a bull. You can fucking dirt bike ride. You can get slapped.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want in this country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what the aliens are like. Jesus Christ. They probably look at slap fighting and go, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Someone trying to tell them not to do that.
Yeah. America's like, the way that we look at Trump, they look at America. You know what I mean? We're like the guy's fucking crazy, but he's funny as hell.
Right.
That's them. They're just looking at us. They're like, they invented what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bunch of psychos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe all advancing civilizations are psychos. Maybe they all eventually have to become integrated with technology to escape the boundaries and the walls that are set up by their biology.
Yeah.
Because your biology has allowed you through in a natural environment to achieve a place where you could be detached from the natural environment with cities and buildings and structures and electricity and power and technology and weapons that allow soft, fleshy water balloons filled with blood to go out there and kill grizzly bears from 100 yards. Boom! And you stand next to them. Look at me. Look what I did. You know, it's wild, but it seems like that is the only way you get to be sophisticated enough to create technology.
Yeah.
You have to have controlled your environment enough where you've stopped all the enemies and stopped all the predators.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Like, in order to build those pyramids, you need a long time of safety.
Yeah.
You can't build them at the same time that you're at war.
Right.
You're being attacked. There's famine. There's no water.
Right.
You need long,
thousands of years.
Thousands of safe.
Yeah.
And food and abundance. And then you need a thing for people to do so they don't kill each other. Keep them busy.
Yep. Keep them busy.
Build.
Keep them from fighting over power. Yeah.
What if it was that simple?
Who knows what it was with those folks? Because I think they were probably more sophisticated than we are today. It's just the only thing that makes sense to me, that they were able to get these multiple ton stones down from the mountains with no road system.
That's the tricky. What is it? The Aswan Valley that they got the stones from for the pyramids in Giza. That is a really tricky.
It's all tricky.
Thing to consider.
Some of them were from 500 miles away.
Yeah.
They were 80 tons.
Yeah.
They got them out of the mountains. They moved them down. They cut them perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, what did they do? How did they do it? What are the machines?
Yeah.
What was the technology? Was it no technology? Really? Are you sure? Is it just based on what? Our understanding currently of what happened 12,000 years ago, which is like not that good?
Yeah.
No, we have a piecemeal understanding, like a very just minute understanding of what was possible back then, based on the evidence of the result of what was possible, which is the pyramids, which is bananas.
And we're also trying to explain it with theories that we've kind of accepted to be fact that are really not that much. Like this idea that it was all done with like the chisels and stones. I don't necessarily subscribe to that.
Yeah, says who?
Yeah.
All they would have to do is find one piece of machinery that didn't exist before they could understand. And they've found things before that they didn't know existed and they couldn't understand. Like, what is that mechanism? The antitheric, what is it called? There was a computer that they found, this computer in gears. It was in a Roman ship that had sank to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Was the Antikythera mechanism.
Yeah.
So this thing, it's an ancient Greek. Go back to that, please, so I can read that. It's an ancient Greek hand-powered orrery, a model of the solar system, described as the oldest known example of an analog computer. And it's used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance. It also could be used to track the 4-year cycle of athletic games.
Athletic games.
Give me a little larger. Athletic games, similar to the Olympiad.
Wow.
The cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. The artifact was among the wreckage retrieved from a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of how do you say that? Antikythera? How do you say it?
Antikythera.
Antikythera in 1901. In 1902, it was identified by archaeologists Valerio Staes as containing a gear. The device housed in the remains of a wooden frame case of uncertain overall size, 34 centimeters by 18 centimeters by 9 centimeters, was found as one lump, later separated into 3 main fragments, which are now divided into 82 separate fragments after conservation efforts. 4 of these fragments contain gears, while inscriptions are found on many others. The largest gear is about 13 centimeters in diameter and originally had 223 teeth. All these fragments of the mechanisms are kept in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, along with the reconstructions and replicas to demonstrate how it may have looked and worked. See if we can find what the replica of what it looked like. But so they had to sort of like figure out how the fuck did they do this? Like, how did they know this? What's involved in this? Like, was this ancient technology that existed like a long time ago that they had preserved and held on to? Like, when was the creation of that thing? So there's things that we know that we didn't think that they could do that sort of really throw a monkey wrench into our understanding.
Yeah.
That's just one. That's just one that they found. I mean, there could have been stuff from thousands of years before that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You deal with erosion, you deal with time, and especially over thousands of years, 12,000 years. Boy, you have nothing left. There's no evidence of whatever these machines were.
It would be interesting to study like what happened to technology during the medieval age. What is it called? What is it during the Black Plague, or what was it called? Medieval ages? Was that the term?
Yeah, but during the plague.
During the plague, right? Where was there an erosion of intellectual property?
Right, because people were dying off.
Exactly, people are dying off, and do the physicists die? Like, because we always talk about this. What happened when all the physicists die? What happened when all the scientists die? So was there an erosion? Was there a step back in our ability to create things during that period? And if there was something that was even worse than that happened throughout history, i.e. like an asteroid or something hitting the Earth, well, that erosion would just be 10 times worse.
100 times worse.
But I'd like to look into that.
Yeah.
Because you still see great works of art that happened during the medieval ages?
Yeah.
You see these great cathedrals go up. So there still were, I would imagine, they were maintaining their ability to create these great structures.
Right, but there had to be a dip in productivity.
So let's see what that dip is, and then multiply it by the catastrophe.
Right. Well, I think people were just like knocked back into the Stone Age. I think that's probably what happened.
That makes sense.
That's why you see the emergence of written language and all these different things from Mesopotamia. Like, that's 6,000 years later.
Yeah.
After the impacts, probably.
So it took that amount of time.
Yeah.
To recover.
Yeah.
And build back the knowledge set. And keep in mind, like, the knowledge set isn't maintained with the efficiency that we have it now, right? Like, you get a couple books that get destroyed, and there it is.
That's a wrap.
Physics gone.
Chemistry, that's the Library of Alexandria. They burned the Library of Alexandria. And like, everybody's like, what happened?
Yeah. That was the knowledge.
Take a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd they build this shit? We've burned it. Sorry. Yeah.
It is vulnerable. We take it for granted. It is incredibly vulnerable.
Oh, man, we're even more vulnerable now because everything's on hard drives. You know, so all it takes is the power going off, and we're fucked.
Yeah.
And how long would it take before the power gets back on? Boy, asteroid impacts, kills the whole grid. Everyone's knocked into the Stone Age for a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
Bro, you ain't getting into them hard drives.
Yeah.
You're never going to figure it out. And although the hard drives will rot, the moisture in the air, the erosion, they'll slowly evaporate. Yeah.
And if somebody handed you a hard drive 2,000 years later, you would just think it was a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
You have no clue that all
it'd
the
be a lump. How about that thing? That thing was just a lump.
We don't know what the fuck that
It was all corroded and fucked up.
They don't know what it is. It's the only one they've ever found, I think I'm reading.
Yeah. I mean, how many of them were there? It wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
They probably had a bunch of them. They probably have even better ones.
That's the question they're saying. Like, what if it was the only one?
It's a mystery.
There's no way
it's a fucking mystery, baby.
We love it.
But it's a fun time.
Oh, it's the best.
It's a fun time to be alive. As chaotic as it is, this is a really fun time to be alive.
Amen.
All right, my brother. I love you to death.
Love
You're the
you
man.
too, man. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
My man.
I'm so happy to see you killing it. It's beautiful to watch.
Thank you
You're
for
out there
everything,
crushing
bro.
it. Come on, man.
Appreciate you.
You're on top of it. I love it.
Thank you, man.
All right. Anything to tell anybody?
Go check out, if you want to come check out the tour, that'd be great. Life tour. We're coming to Austin, actually.
When are you coming?
April 16th, I think, or something like that. We're doing the Moody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful.
That'd be awesome. Come out to
All
that.
right.
Thank you so much.
My brother. Thank you. Bye, everybody.